250 going to be. So we're going to dial in now.
No, it is an honor. You've been with from the beginning. Without doubt. In fact, I had some moments when I said maybe they might not, fake stories were put out there like, I don't like corn. I don't like corn. I love corn. But they give you fake news. I said, you think that's going to hurt me? And my numbers went up. I don't know. I can't figure people out. This evening, we're officially launching America250, an enormous year-long nationwide celebration of our heritage. It's really also a celebration of our flag, our great American flag, and our glorious American flag. Did anybody see the beautiful flag I put up in front of the White House? Right? Everyone's liking it. Everyone's liking it. I actually put two up. I put one in the front and one in the back. I didn't want to go too crazy. I thought that would be enough. They're about as big as you can get. We're proud of it. We will be announcing many more details in the weeks to come, but there are just some of the things that we have planned. And I have to say first, in honor of the wonderful tradition of fairgrounds like this one, this is a great fairground. As you know, I've been here before. We will be orchestrating what we're calling the Great American State Fair, and it will start right here in Iowa. We're starting it off in Iowa. Now we're starting it off at the great fairgrounds, and we're going to have a big crowd just like we do tonight. That's a big crowd. I can't even see the end of it. So thank you back there. I'd like to move the press back so they can see better. But the Great American State Fair will bring America250 programming to fairgrounds across the country, culminating in a giant patriotic festival next summer on the National Mall, featuring exhibits from all 50 states, and all 50 states are excited, and I was excited. When I did the 250, there was nothing I could do. It was 250, it was 250, so I can't say that was my baby, because you happen to be 250 years old. But what I did do is during my first term, I got the Olympics, and I got the great soccer, that whole deal, right? We call it soccer, they call it football. I got them both. I got the Olympics. First I got the Olympics, and I got it. I was president, and I said, it's a shame. It's a shame. I got the World Cup, and I have the Olympics, and I did it. And you have no idea. President Obama didn't want to make a call to the Olympics. You know why? Because he went to Switzerland or wherever. And he said, if a president goes to get the Olympics, you have to have a deal. You have to be chosen. He went there and he came in fourth, so he hated them, I guess. And he was unwilling to make a call, and they called me up. Democrats called me up, actually, from Los Angeles, and I said, I'll do it. I made the call, and I couldn't get the people off the phone because they were so starved for love. Because nobody would call them. Anyway, we made a deal. I got the Olympics. Then we got the World Cup with Johnny. We got the World Cup, and I got them both. And I looked at my people. I said, isn't it a shame? I got these two, but it wasn't in the next 4 years. It was right after that and the one after that. And I got the Olympics, I got the World Cup, and we also have 250, so it's a pretty wild term. But I got these two things that are incredible. Nobody else could have done it. I'm telling you, everybody wanted it. Nobody could have done it. And I said, and I won't be president, because I'll be president for 4 more years, but it won't be. And then they cheated and rigged the election. They rigged. They don't even turn off the cameras when I say that now, because now they know it's true too. But they knew it was true before.
Yeah.
Remember the cameras used to immediately turn off? You see all those beautiful red lights go off. Now I can say whatever I want because they know it's true. But they knew it was true before. Fake news, that's what they call it. But you know what? This term is much more consequential than if I had done it the more traditional way. This was slightly harder, believe me. Slightly more dangerous because there are criminals on the other side that tried to put your president in jail and went after him, just like they do in third world countries. And we all beat them together. We beat them because our level of popularity was so high. And it was high because I explained the situation. When these thugs came around, I explained it to the people. Unfortunately, I was able to be on a lot of television, I did whatever you had to do. I had to explain it. Then they said, wow, that's fake stuff. It was fake. They're a bunch of bad people, but we kicked their ass and we're going to more loyal than Mr. Kaufman, who's fantastic, and Iowa, and his son, who's maybe more fan. Where the hell is he? Where stand up? Where's your boy? His son is better than him, I'm telling you. And he doesn't mind. I have a lot of fathers would be very insulted when I said that, but they're bad people. He's a good guy. He's got a son who's fantastic, you know that. I think he's probably here someplace. Where is? Oh, he's better looking than you too. Good, thank you. Great job. Nobody more loyal than the people of Iowa during that period of time when we had to show our stuff. But we just celebrated the 250th anniversary of the Army at Fort Bragg. You know, they changed the name. We changed it back to Fort Bragg. The people of North Carolina came up, they said, sir, we want to really have the name of Fort Bragg back. Everybody was saying that. They kept calling it Fort Bragg. I changed it back. You know, these radical left lunatics changed the name of Fort Bragg. So we won World War II. We won World War I. We won other wars. We won everything from Fort Bragg and other places. So we were also changing many of them back. And then we decided to change the name. Now, I tell people, you know, it's incredible. We're the only people. We win 2 world wars from a place, and then we say, let's change the name. So we changed it back, and the people are very happy in North Carolina right now. And we just celebrated, because the 250 was for the Army, was 1 year earlier than the, which makes sense, you know, we had a little Army, we did well, and now we have a nation. So it was 1 year earlier than the nation itself. And we had a beautiful parade in Washington, D.C. the other day. It was fantastic. You know, it was amazing because it was the weather was so overcast and it looked so bad. And a week before they said, oh, it's going to rain. I said, oh man, we're bringing all these Army tanks, we're bringing all these people, these men and women. They're going to march down Fifth Avenue or wherever. This is terrible, it's going to rain. And then in the day we woke up, rain is projected all night long, heavy. Oh, I'm saying, I'll get my hair soaking wet. My hair's going to be soaking wet. I'll be crazy. I'll say, you know, this is terrible. It's going to rain 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The thing was at 8 in the evening, 1 o'clock. Rain is forecast at levels you haven't seen before. I said, oh, this is it. And so the generals told me, sir, we could change it, but this is the Army. We're sort of used to bad weather. I said, no, don't change it. I'll wear a raincoat. I'll wear a big fat hat so I don't get totally drenched. I'll be okay. I'm such a tough cookie. And then what happens? We get there, and there's no rain. And we go 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of watching these great guys marching down Fifth Avenue. It never rained. And then I thought to myself, global warming. They're telling us what's going to happen in 250 years to our planet, but they can't tell us it's going to rain 3 hours before the event. In 250 years from now, the planet's going to burn up or freeze up. And you know, remember when they said they called it global warming, the global cooling, they had all different things. Now they just changed it to climate change. They said, well, climate change you can't miss. How's it doing? Climate change every time. If it's cold, if it's hot, if it's rainy, if it's sunny, if it's too crazy, we have climate change. But think of it. They're telling you what's going to happen in 100 years. The oceans are going to rise 1/4 of an inch and everyone's going to be wiped out. No, you're going to have more oceanfront property if that happens. Afterwards. And think of it, with all of the nuclear weapons, remember Biden had always used to say, it is it's an existential threat. He loves the word existential. It's an existential threat. What is? I don't know, climate change. Remember that? Always, that's dangerous too, because they're going to take that and they're going to say, he couldn't say existential. So you can't imitate people either. Remember I used to imitate Biden, couldn't get off the stage, and I'd walk into walls? And I called my wife, because it's always on television, and I said, how was it, baby? How good was that? We had 44,000 people. Nobody else could do it. I have to brag a little bit, you know. What the hell? A little truth to that. But I brag a little bit. I say, how good was I? You were really good, but you know, what happened? You couldn't find us. You couldn't get off the stage. They said, no, I was imitating Biden. No, well, that's not the way it showed up. They showed you hitting walls, bunking your head on. So even like the word existential, when they imitate him saying it, tonight it's going to be on CNN. He couldn't speak. He couldn't say the word. These are seriously sick people. But now, this fall, we're also going to be celebrating 250 birthdays of the United States Navy and the United States Marines. And I'm a little prejudiced, and one of them is going to be really great. It's called Space Force, because that was my baby.
Yeah.
Remember, they wanted to terminate it. First year of Biden's administration, they wanted to terminate Space Force, and the military wouldn't let them. And it's turned out to be one of the most important there is. I was very proud of that Space Force, and they're doing great. In addition, just as I promised 5 years ago tonight in my speech at Mount Rushmore, where a certain governor at that time, who's now our Homeland Security Chief, Kristi Noem, stand up there. Now I don't have to introduce her. You know, I hired Tom Homan for the border, and I said, Tom, I want you to give me who'd be the best to be the Secretary of Homeland Security, which is essentially his boss. He said, Kristi Noem, sir. I said, Kristi Noem? You gotta be kidding. She's a great person, she's smart, but, I mean, is she tough enough? Sir, she's the toughest person around. I said, and she is. She's tough as hell. I've learned. I'll tell you, a lot of bad people have learned, and she's done a fantastic job. Thank you. Thank you. But we're going to be officially opening the National Garden of American Heroes, a vast outdoor park featuring statues of the greatest Americans who ever lived. You know, they took down a lot of our statues. They took down statues of some of the greatest people that we've ever had living. I stopped them from taking down Thomas Jefferson. They wanted to take the Thomas Jefferson Memorial. They wanted to rip the hell out of the statue inside. You can imagine who they were going to put up. Let's get rid of Thomas Jefferson. So we stopped them. We signed a law. Do you remember that night? It was crazy. And they were marching toward the Jefferson Memorial, and I took out an old bill from 1909. And it was a bill that if you so much as said old, because today they don't do these things. They don't do it like they used to. Today you could never get it passed. It said if you so much as touch a monument or a statue, you go to jail for a 10-year period. No anything. So they were marching down there, and in the middle of their march, I gave a news conference. I said, anybody that touches an sign immediately goes to jail for a 10-year period. That march broke up so quickly you've never seen it. They said, it's a miracle. What happened? I signed a little bill that said you go to jail for a 10-year period. It was a great thing. It was an old bill that wasn't used. In fact, I don't know. I hope we don't have to use it again. But they're learning that, you know, we saved Los Angeles. If we didn't send in the National Guard, I would have sent in the military if they needed it. But if we didn't send in the National Guard, Los Angeles would have been burned down to the ground just like half of their houses were burned down to the ground because they didn't give water that they had plenty of. I'm pleased to report that the One Big Beautiful Bill includes full funding for those statues, and we're going to do statues to our greatest Americans, and we're going to let the people choose who they are. You better choose me, not more. I should take myself out. I think I should take myself out.
No.
Great Chief of Staff, the first woman Chief of Staff. Can you believe it? Susie Wiles. And that beautiful exterior, don't let it fool you. She's rough, tough. She got rated the most powerful woman anywhere in the world. She can take out a country with a mere phone call, which is true. Actually, it's very true in her case. And she's done a great job. We're doing okay, Susie? Looking good. We had a good 2 weeks, right? This had to be the best 2 weeks. Has anybody ever had a better 2 weeks? Next, to bring back our people together, through the power of sports, America250 will also host a brand new, first of its kind, youth athletes. It's a competition known as the Patriot Games, and it features top high school athletes from all 50 states. It's going to be great. And this phenomenal patriotic sporting event will be nationally televised, and it'll be led by our great Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He's great, and he's a little different, right? We needed somebody different. You know, autism. You go back, I guess, 18 years, 10,000, think of this, out of 10,000 people, okay? 10,000 people, and I'll go a little different way. right now, out of 10,000 people, 18 people they're safe. 18 people. We have a statistic on autism that's the worst I've ever seen. And he's going to change it. He's going to change it. It used to be 20 years ago, you just didn't have it. And now it's numbers that are unbelievable, where the numbers are so bad, it's got to be artificially induced, and we're going to find out what it is, and when. We're going to find it out as soon as possible.
Woo!
And if you think about it, the numbers have increased by 200-fold. And that's really something, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. That's a terrible situation. Likewise, under the leadership of Secretary Burgum, who's here right now, he was a great governor of North Carolina.
North Dakota.
Great governor of North Dakota. Where is he? Where is he? Mr. Secretary. And he's in charge of energy plus a lot of land. He's the biggest landlord, I guess, in the world. But he was a great governor of North Dakota. And he was very special in so many ways. He became an energy expert. And he came to me and I said, I want you to be the head of energy. He said, no, we have one man that's better than me, and that was Chris, right? And put him in charge, and we merged the two. And he's got all the land with all the oil, and the other one has all the expertise to get the oil out of the land. And Chris is doing great, and you're doing great, Doug, and I appreciate it. And say hello to Catherine and everybody. Doing a great job. We have a great cabinet. So every one of our national park, battlefields, and historic sites are going to have special events in honor of America250. And I even think we're going to have a UFC fight. Does anybody watch UFC, the great day? We're going to have a UFC fight. We're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this, on the grounds of the White House. We have a lot of land there. We're going to build a little, we're not, Dana's going to do it. Dana's great, one of a kind. We're going to have a UFC fight, championship fight. Full fight, like 25,000 people. And we're going to do that as part of 250 also. We're going to have some incredible events, some professional events, some amateur events. But the UFC fight's going to be a big deal too. And to fund improvements and enhance experiences across the park system, for this anniversary, I've just signed an executive order to raise entrance fees for foreign tourists while keeping prices low for Americans. And we're going to do that. The national parks will be about America First. We're going to take it America First for the national parks. And these are just a few of the many programs, initiatives, celebrations that will renew for our national pride. We're going to have great pride. I think we do have great pride. I think we have more pride and more spirit in our country right now than we've had in 50 years.
USA! 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 USA!
And together we're going to ensure that America's 250th anniversary is the single greatest year in the history of our country. We want to have a lot of great things. A lot of the things that Bobby and Health and Human Services are doing are going to come up during that period of time. And we're going to come up with a lot of tremendous things for health and safety. And economically, we're going to have the strongest country anywhere in the world. And the bill that we just got approved today was, think of that, all of those votes, 2 negative votes, but we had no Democrats, 2 negative votes in the Republicans out of all that. So I want to thank those great Republicans that voted to get it in. You know, we could only lose 3. If we lost 3. If we lost 3, trouble. No, we didn't lose 3. We lost 2, and I'm sure if I needed the 2, I could have gotten them 2. But we're pleased to be joined tonight by many friends who will help make that possible, including, and I introduced Doug Burgum already from North Dakota. Just a great. He was really one of the best. Was he a better governor than you? Would you say, Christy? Was he better than you? Because they were neighbors, you know, North Dakota and South Dakota. Brooke Rollins, thank you, Brooke. Great job. She's now the agricultural secretary. Christy Nome, great governor also, but she's doing I don't know. You like this better than being governor? Don't say. They love you in the state, don't say. Maybe the most important guy in this whole place. You know, a lot of projects have stopped using environmental stuff. a lot of projects and stuff. They use it as a weapon, the radical left and others. They use it as a weapon. This man is the greatest. He's doing a job that's incredible. Doug would tell you that. Everybody will tell you that. Lee Zeldin. He's the head of the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. He's the head of it. Great guy. He was a great politician, a tremendous congressman. He ran for governor of New York, which is tough. And he almost won. I'm glad he didn't win, actually. I wouldn't have your head. I said, Lee, a nuclear power plant, we give you 1 week to get me the approval. So, but he's been done great. And we have factories, and we have plants all over the world right now. They're being built and they're going up. Also, Governor Kim Reynolds from Iowa. Thank you, Kim. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. And Lieutenant Governor Chris Corner. Where's Chris? Chris Corner. Thank you, Chris, very much. Great job. You have Senator Chuck Grassley and Joni Ernst. Chuck! Hi, Chuck. He's doing great, too. He's got more energy than all of us. And where's Joni? Is Joni here? Hi, Joni. Very good. Good job. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Joni. And you have members of Congress, Ashley Hinson, Marionette Miller Meeks, Zach Dunn, Randy Feenstra. Good group. We flew in together, and boy, they were nice. They were so happy at that victory today, weren't you? Randy, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was great. We had a good flight. We have an ambassador who's been my friend for a long time, Monica Crowley. I heard her speak. I thought she did really well. Thank you, Monica. And you know Matt Whitaker, a man from Iowa, ambassador to NATO. We also had a person, I have to give her credit, Brenna Bird, Attorney General. She came out, she endorsed me very early, and I appreciate it. Where's Brenna? Hi, Brenna. She came out, she endorsed me. I said, thank you very much. Who the hell is that? She's great. Former State Senator Brad Zahn. Oh, my man, there he is. I haven't seen him. He was the first man in the entire country that endorsed me, right?
Wow.
Not just from Iowa. He endorsed me 3 months before I ran. He said, that guy from New York should run. So I want to thank you. Really great. You're looking good, too. He's like the Marlboro Man. He looks like the Marlboro Man. Handsome guy. Iowa Speaker, Pat Grassley. Pat, thank you very much, Pat. Nice to see you. Iowa Senate Majority Leader, Jack Whitver. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jack. Iowa House Majority Leader-elect, Bobby Kaufman. Thank you, Bob.